Good morning, everybody. Sorry for the late start, just technical issues, so I'm just getting my headphones in so I can hear if I'm going out live. So, welcome to another Sunday morning live session, 20 questions, mock test, and a hazard perception demonstration. Good morning, everybody. Because I still are getting emails where most people are still struggling on hazard perception, even in the study camp. They're struggling with hazard perception as well. So I will do a demonstration. If you guys got any questions whatsoever, theory related, driving lessons related, or driving test related, type it in. That's why I go live, to answer your particular questions personal to you. Let me just make sure I've got the comments up. And hopefully we can get through this session with no issues. I think I resolved all of them, but any other issues that come up will be a YouTube thing, which I have no control over. So I think we're good to go. Yeah, if you've got a question, please put a Q semicolon. It just makes it a lot easier for me to find, because once you guys get going, you are talking amongst yourselves and all the rest of it. And it looks like a comment and I may miss it, and I get people typing in 3-4 times and getting upset with me. You didn't answer my question. That's because I didn't see it. Right, so let's say hello to some of you. Let's get that changed. That's the wrong one. So we should be able to go. There you go. Right, so first out. Wow, I've not seen your name before, so I can't pronounce that. I'm not going to try to butcher it. But welcome anyway. Appreciate the comment. Let me know if you are new or just been a silent watcher. Well, like I said, I've not seen your name before coming up, so thank you for commenting. So, good morning to you. Hopefully you are well. D, good morning to you and everyone else. Loving that, sending that love to everybody. Good morning to the world of life again. Wow, this week was so automatic. Okay, do you want to share why? Tula. I've not seen your name before, so again, good morning to you. All these new avatars I've not seen before. Medi Prime, good morning again. Josh, failed 3 times, 38, 40, 41. Well, the good news is that it's going up, but there's still a lack of understanding. If you're getting 38 on the first one, 40 on the second, 41 on the third, there's still a lack of knowledge there, or the understanding of why the answers are what it is. So that's what you need to improve on. Carolyn, good morning. Second attempt, well done to you for keep going. 44 out of 50 and 57 out of 75. Well done to you. Let us know what you're going to do next. Driving lessons or driving tests, because it's really important that you guys, once you pass your theory test, don't sit on it. The reason being the driving test, which I'm getting to, because I used to do intensive courses. So literally the pupils come to me on a Monday, we do the theory training over the 4 days, take the theory test on Friday, normally go and pass it, and then they can put their driving test at the end of the intensive driving course, because they did both side by side. Now I've gone to doing hourly lessons, and with my students, they are really struggling to get a driving test, and in some cases it's 4, 5, 6 months. So the last thing you want to be doing is sitting on your theory test for at least a year, then trying to get ready for a driving test, which can take 4 to 6 months if you've got no driving experience, doing 2 hours a week, and having to wait another 6 months to get a driving test. That's your 2 years done and dusted. So my advice is try and do both side by side. It makes life a lot easier. But don't sit on your theory, because 2 years seems like a long time, but before you know it, you're looking to take another theory test. Okay, I'll read your email. I'll put an arrow aside for your email, because you do go deep. Marcel, good morning to you. Rose, good morning. Passed your theory test as well. Congratulations. Again, let me know what you are looking to do next. Yeah, when you guys pass your theories, let me know if you can take driving lessons or you got driving experience, looking for a driving test, whatever your next step is. Cause I want to know you guys complete the journey. Cause I don't want to, as much as I like you guys here, once you pass, I want you gone, as in get your full license. I appreciate that. Johnny Baden, good morning to you. Not seen you before, so welcome. Pass your tests Thursday. Well done to you. Again, let me know what you're up to next in terms of the driving world. Good morning to you. Good morning to you and welcome. Please explain question on car towing van on dual carriage mops, single track. Thank you. You got to give me a bit more information. There's a lot of towing questions. You've got to give me a bit more information. What is it that you're actually looking for? Explain questions on car towing van. Car towing van on dual carriageway. Car towing, just full stop. Towing, no vans on dual carriage motorways and single track, etc. Tell me what you're looking for. You're talking about speed limits, which lanes they can use. It's a whole section. And that's another thing. When you guys are asking questions, give me a bit more detail. Just to say, explain X. X is, a ferry test is massive. That's what you got to understand. Just because you've got X amount of questions on the app, they have spin-off questions. So one question can be asked 3-4 different ways and give you 3-4 different answers. So you got to give me a little bit more details on what you're looking for. Because technically, I do this in the study camp where we speak about towing vehicles, but it's done with diagrams. So it's very hard to get that across on a live session with no diagrams. So you got to tell me what you're looking for. Just a bit more info. Good morning to you. Well done to you. Congratulations. Passed ferry test 3 times. Kept going and passed your driving test on the first attempt. Well done. Let me know which area you took your driving test. It's always good to know what area you passed. The common place on here is Glasgow, Scotland, and Manchester. So let me know let me know where you passed your driving test. But well done, and thank you for letting me know. You got a sad face there. What does that mean? Your second time you took the theory test, or the second time you're here and you don't like it being here? What's it mean? Unless I missed a comment earlier on, which I don't think I did, because you just said morning and then you've gone straight into this. So I'm not sure what second time means. Good morning, Pamela. Pamela, good morning to you. Oh, congratulations. Well done. Translate into your language. Oh, I didn't see the last bit. It didn't pass on the videos. You mean it has perception? That's a shame. But at least you know that the questions or translating the questions kind of worked. With the video side of it, you mean has perception? Let's just clarify that, because the theory test, the last 3 questions, 48, 49, and 50, is videos as well. So you want to make it clear that it has perception that you're talking about. It gives you a breakdown how many 5s, 4s, X, Y, Z that you got. So you need to be looking at that. If you got lots of 2s and 1s, you're clicking way too late. If you've got quite a few 0s, you don't know what a hazard is. That's what it comes down to. So that's what you would want to examine. But that's a shame, because you put all the hard work in and passed on the hard part, but the easier part you failed on. But at least you know that it works, so that should give you encouragement and motivation to go again. Good morning to you, blessings. Inspire. I don't see your name before, that's for sure. Good morning and welcome. Right, let me do the overview first and then we get cracking. I'm just going to call you Akin, because I can't. Akin, that's a lot of words. First of all, welcome, first time here. Hopefully you learned something. It's my first time in your live session. You're doing a great job. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I stumbled up on your page and it really helped. Thank you for coming to the live sessions and letting me know. I appreciate that. Hopefully you learned something more here. If you've got any questions while you're here, type it in. Let me answer it for you. Welcome, Black Image Pictures. Not seen you before. Good morning, John. I'm trying to book for trying to book for the theory test. How long can I take? As long as you want. I wouldn't take too long, but take as long as you want. The theory test is what you guys got to understand. The theory test is individual. I can't tell you that I can't tell you. Let's start again. My advice is 30 days is the sweet spot. Let me do this and I'll explain why. First of all, rather than go backwards and forwards. First of all, the theory test is 50 questions. It's made up of 14 different categories. Your 50 questions will be drawn from those 14 categories. You don't know how your test is going to be made up. It's random 50 questions. And what I mean by that is the person to your left may get 5 road signs. The person to your right may get 2 road signs. You may get 3 road signs. That's why I say study the categories, because you need to be strong across the board. It's general knowledge, if that makes sense, of those 14 categories. So it's not a set question. So if your friend went in yesterday, you can ask them all the questions they got, but this doesn't mean that you're going to get the same questions. So that's what you need to be doing. And the questions on the app is sampled questions. They are giving you an idea of how the question could be worded. When you go for the real test, it's worded differently. And there's going to be questions that you have never seen before. So this is why I say 30 days is the sweet spot if you're studying on a regular basis. If you're studying 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, then 30 days, you can take longer, if that makes sense. The reason why I say 30 days is the sweet spot, because at some point, if you keep studying over and over and over and over, you're going to exhaust all 770 odd questions, and then it becomes just a memorizing exercise, not deliberate, but you're just memorizing because you see the question so many times, you know what the answer is. So the learning stops taking place, and that's why I say 30 days roughly is the sweet spot to cover everything you need and then go and take the real test. But as I just mentioned, everybody's different. Some people's lifestyle can't get them to study every day, let alone a couple of times a week. So you have to go at your pace. Some people are fast, some people are slow. So you have to go at your pace. But 30 days is the sweet spot, because like I said, at some point you're going to cover all the questions, and then once that happens, it's now just a general memorization exercise, which is what you do not want to fall into. Time that you have to do the questions is 57 minutes. I'm still getting emails of people failing the test, and when I ask, one of the first questions I ask is, how long do you take the test? 20 odd minutes. Someone done one, it wasn't actually a real test, it was actually in the study camp, and I think it was 12 minutes, I'm going to say 12 minutes, and failed drastically. And I had to say to him, how do you expect to pass doing a mock test in 12 minutes? That makes no sense whatsoever. And half the stuff that he failed on was because he misread it, because he done it in 12 minutes. They give you 57 minutes for a reason. Use the 57 minutes if it's required. I'm not saying you've got to sit there for 57 minutes, but what I am saying is that you need to read the question, look for the clues, the golden nuggets, and break it down. And if you have to eliminate 2 of the wrong questions, 2 of the wrong answers, and then you're left with a 50-50 and try to work it out, maybe even flag it and go back to it, that you can't do in 20 odd minutes and get a positive outcome with that. So take your time with that. Once you've done that, you go into the hazard perception, which is 14 videos. I am going to do a hazard perception demonstration at the end to break it down. There was someone here, I think it was, let me just see if I can find it. Pope Creations. If you stick around for that, that may help you on your next attempt on the videos, since you failed on the hazard perception. What I would like you to do, if you don't mind, is Pope Creations I'm talking to. While we're live, if you've got your paperwork, just type in the comment section how many 0s, 1s and 2s that you got. I'm not really interested in the 3s, 4s and 5s, because the average has to be 3, 4 and 5 anyway. How many 0s you got, how many 1s you got, how many 2s you got, and that gives me an idea roughly of what you're really struggling with, and I can help you out on a demonstration. So if you want to do that while I'm doing this, common sense is what you're looking for in terms of answers. I got students picking mobile phone answers in the study camp. Mobile phone, you know it's never going to be correct with a mobile phone. There is one question where you can use the mobile phone. It comes on the real test, not on the app. When can you use your phone while the car's in motion? The answer is when it's unsafe to stop, but it has to be to 999 or a 112. I repeat the question: when can you use your mobile phone while the car is in motion? And the answer is when it's unsafe to stop. Dial in 999 or a 112, which is an emergency number. Outside of that, you can't use your mobile while the car's in motion. So why would you want to be picking an answer that can't be correct? So use a bit of common sense on that. But overall, what they're looking for is safety answers, because your driving test is about safety and control overall. And if it doesn't lead to safety in terms of answers, as I said, it's going to be a controlled outcome, which is normally your motorway lessons, motorway questions, and your first aid questions under normal circumstances. As I said, I run a 30-day study camp. As much as it's called a 30-day study camp, you haven't got access for 30 days. You've got access until you pass. So if it takes you, I don't know, 4 months to pass, then you're in it for 4 months. Basically, I do not kick you out. So once you sign up, you're in, and then you get all the help that you need to pass, and live training sessions as well with that. So if you do struggle, the link is in the description. So let's go back to some of your comments, and then we'll get on with the test. Good morning, Don. I'm trying to... Yeah, I've done that one. Sorry. I booked my... So I just want to read that again. You booked it for the 31st of July, which is the end of the month, but after watching the videos and series, I got so confident and changed my date to the 14th, which was last week. But in your part, well done to you. 49, missed the magical 50 by 1. And 40, oh, the script has a perception though. That will improve because you're going to use that on your driving lessons. You can't get away from that. If, just in case you guys don't know, has a perception, the click that you are doing to get your 5s and 4s. If you're doing that in real life, your driving lessons, that click represents you checking the mirrors. So that's going to improve while you're driving around, because if you don't, then you're not going to pass your driving test in that sense. But well done to you, being confident to move it forwards as well. That's rare. So congratulations, and thank you for coming to let me know as well. I appreciate that. Good morning, first of all, welcome. Good morning. I had my test on the 15th of July again last week, got 42. So that's 8 questions wrong, but I book again for the 7th of August, which is 2.5 weeks away, give or take. Study the categories you got wrong. If you got 42, that's going to be at least 5 categories that you would have got questions wrong in. I would definitely brush up on that. Asking the question, passing Bristol. Don't think I've had anyone passing Bristol now. Avon, Mouth, Bristol. Well done to you though, passing it. You're a driver now. Just make sure when you do drive, you drive safely. Don't take any risk, because you're on 2 years probation. Avita, good morning to you. I only get 2 signs mixed up out of the ones I have come across. Thank you, Ninja. Appreciate that. Again, let me know what you're going to do next. Yes, if you guys have passed, let me know. If you're going to look to book driving lessons. Are you taking driving lessons? Are you going to look for a driving test if you can find one? Greg, I'm going to call you Greg. Good morning, Doran. It's my first welcome. Single broken lines in the middle and the double white lines in the middle of the road. There's 2 types of single lines in the middle of the road. You've got to be very careful because they're very similar. There's one, if I can remember, short but big gaps They are center lines. Literally what it says on the tin gives you a visual clue of the center of the road. Then there's a longer lines, shorter gaps, which are hazard lines. That's the one that comes up the most on the test because that's a dangerous one. Hazard lines normally warns you of a hazard, hence the name hazard lines. You normally see them one or two places just before a bend. The hazard is the bend, and before a giveaway line, the giveaway line junction is a hazard. So those are the two lines. So short line, big gaps in between, that's a center line. Long line, short gaps, that's your hazard lines. So that's that taken care of. And then what was the other one? Double white lines in the middle of the road. Those double white lines in the middle of the road, the question with that one is normally when can you cross a double white line in the middle of the road? And the key to the answer is 10 miles an hour. They'll only give you one out of the four choices that has 10 miles an hour, but you have to look at the vehicle you're now going to pass at 10 miles an hour. And the three options for the vehicles are cyclist, your road maintenance vehicles. They're now throwing horse riders. That never used to be there before. So they're now throwing in horses. So I repeat, when can you cross a double white line in the middle of the road? It's when you are overtaking a slow moving vehicle doing 10 miles an hour or less. And the vehicles are road maintenance, cyclist, and now your horse rider. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, let's do the first question and then I'll carry on with your comments. I've got to share my screen first. So for those of you that are new, question number 1, that's going to be important. So always put the question number first. A cycle lane marked by a solid white line is in operation. What does it mean for car drivers? Always scrutinize the image because sometimes there's clues in the image. So if there's an image, have a good look at the image. Sometimes pick up the clues that's in here. So you got solid white line, and you got solid white line. And then what does it mean for drivers? And then this is A, this is B. So A and B is on the top line, C and D is on the bottom. So if you think it's D, please put question number 1 and then D as your option. I remember if you guys got questions, still keep them coming in. Q semicolon is what I'm looking for. Light bulb moments, yeah. I agree with that. Take your time. That's why you can't do the test in 20 minutes. If you're going to read the question 2 or 3 times, look for clues. Get my words out. You can't do that. And not get. Can some people do the test in 20 minutes and pass? Yeah. Should you do it in 20 minutes? No. As the answer. Andrea, good morning to you. Got a test in 2 weeks. Well, I wish you luck with that. Again, if you've got any questions, Andrea, while you're on the live sessions, remember, type in while you guys are studying during the week. If you've got questions you want to explain, but give me details, not just what does towing a vehicle, blah, 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 in the middle of the road means or whatever it was. You've got to give me a bit more detail so I know exactly what you're looking for in terms of the answers and then I can give you the answer. But like I said, remember, the theory test is a massive topic. You need to break it down. If you want me to help you, break it down because I haven't got the diagram to show like I have in the study camp to make it isolated. So you need to tell me what it is you're looking for and I can give you the information similar to the person that just asked about the lines. That's clarity. I know exactly what lines they're talking about so I can give them the exact answer. What are we on? Number 1. Let's find the ones. I'm going to put this up, Danielle, for the simple fact is I know we're on the first one, but going forwards, please put like Mini Prime has. It looks a bit small on screen. And again, put 1A. Moving forward, it won't be shown because there's a delay between me and YouTube. You and YouTube, I think it's about 30 seconds, 40 seconds delay. So I want to make sure we're on the same question, same answer. You guys gone for 1A. They must not drive in that lane. Yeah, solid line, don't cross it. You stopped in an emergency area. What must you do before you rejoin the carriageway? Sorry, I am here. I'm not talking, so the silence is just me starring all these messages. All right, number 2. There's another A as well. You stopped. The emergency area is also called, just in case. You've got 2. I don't know, let me put this up. You've got 2B as an answer, but so you can let other drivers know. I don't know what B is. Let me just double check what B is. First of all, I forgot what I was going to say now. Yeah, look for the clues. You stopped in an emergency area. On the real test, they can call the emergency area refuge area. Remember, the question or the answer can be worded differently. So that's what you need to prepare for. So you have stopped in a refuge area. A refuge area is an emergency area, so that's what they can call it. What must you do before you rejoin? You've got emergency here. Let me get my thing up. You've got emergency, and then you've got emergency there as well. It's only one out of all of them that's got emergency. So there's a connection there. And that's how you guys want to be. I've got a video coming out about golden nuggets, how to use the what I call golden nuggets is clues. And that's how the golden nugget actually stands for something. It's only when someone mentioned it, when I say golden nuggets, the golden actually stands for something. And I'm going to do a video this week explaining that, and I'm going to give it to you guys as a download where you can actually use it with each question, how to break it down, grab the clues, lose the 2 answers, blah blah blah. I won't go into it now, but that's what it is. So golden nuggets is look for the clues that's possible. It doesn't always work, but you can eliminate at least 2 of the questions answers out of it. Then you're left with a 50-50, which is obviously going to be a better guess if you're guessing at that point rather than guessing 1 out of 4. So that's what that is. B, sorry, just put B. Move away. You don't move away with hazard lights on because you're not a hazard. You're a hazard because you're slowing down and stopping. If you're moving off, you're not a hazard. So you should be moving off when it's safe. If you put hazard lights on to warn people, then there's something wrong. That's what indicator's for. A right indicator or a left indicator. How should you rejoin the motorway after a breakdown on the hard shoulder? It's interesting question. All right, let me just do this. Good morning, Jonathan. Good morning to you. I have my test next week, Tuesday. I'm nervous. I'm worried about what's going on. First of all, your test is next Tuesday. Nerves, I'm nervous, I'm worried. Nerves is a good thing, it's not a bad thing as long as you do not let it control you. If you go in there nervous and let panic set in, what you're going to do, you're probably going to fail it, and I'm going to tell you why. Because the brain's not comfortable, you're not comfortable with it, you're going to pick answers that you're just not sure of just to get out of there quickly or get through the test quickly. So you don't want the nerves to control you, want to be in control of the nerves. That's where knowledge comes in, because if you're confident about your stuff, you are going to be a lot calmer, if that makes sense. I'll give you an example. I use me as an example. I've been an instructor for 30 years, driving instructor for 30 years, and we get check tested every so often. And this is when the chief examiner sits in the back of my car and watches me give a driving lesson to make sure my standard is where it needs to be. I get nervous after 30 years. I've had so many check tests, it's unbelievable. But I get nervous when he's sitting in the back of my car. But I'm confident because obviously I know my stuff inside out, so it doesn't bother me. But yeah, I even get my words tongue-tied when I'm in the car giving the lesson when he's in the back. But remove him from the car and I'm fine. But like I said, I don't let my nerves control me because I know my stuff, and that's all it is about knowing your stuff, be confident in your own ability. Hazard perception. Because your test is next Tuesday, I'm going to do a demonstration. So if you stick around, you can see the demonstration. You can ask questions based on that demonstration if you stick around. But if you can't stay around, there's a video on my channel. I don't know if you've watched it. It's comprehensive. It's about 18 minutes where I go through, if you click too many times, not enough times, spamming, blah, blah, blah. And I've broken it down. It's about 2 years old, but it's still relevant. So that's what I would do with that. Once you know what a hazard is, it's the same for any video. You just find the hazard. It's always the questions you need to be concerned about because you don't know what questions you're going to get and you don't know how it's going to be worded. But I wish you luck with that. But while you're here, ask any questions that you may have. And let me send you in confidently so you lose some of those nerves. How should you join? Number 3. I wish you the best of luck with that, Jonathan. Come back next week and then let us know how you got on. But hopefully it's positive news. You guys went for C. Build speed up to the whole. Yeah, it's got safe in it as well. Got the word safe in it. Believe it or not, this question and the previous question, I can't go back to it because this app won't allow me to do it in a 20 question test. It's the same question. Believe it or not, it's actually the same question. It says, how should you rejoin the motorway after a breakdown on the hard shoulder? Remember, I said to you, the hard shoulder could be classed as an emergency area or a refuge area. They're all the same thing, believe it or not. And the other one was to use the emergency phone or wherever it was. And this one is to build your speed up in a hard shoulder, drive at... again, with this one, I would drive at 60 miles an hour before looking for a safe gap. Why? Because a lorry can only do 60 miles an hour and they should be staying left when possible. So if you're doing 60, they're doing 60, the 2-second gap if it's dry stays the same, 4 seconds if it's wet. Notice I'm using different answers from different categories for the answer for this one. And that's the reason why you need to do all the categories, because you don't know where you're going to have to use that knowledge to get to the answer that is necessary. But yeah, this question and the last question is the same, just worded differently. And that's why I say understand it inside out. For how long is an MLT certificate normally valid for? Right, let's go through some of these. Debbie, good morning to you. Silent follower, thank you for breaking the silence. Passed my test on the 16th last week, 47 or 50, 100%. First of all, thank you for breaking the silence. Appreciate that. Second, well done for passing your theory tests. You booked your driving in November, so you've done it straight away. That's good. Why Southampton but live in London? Just, if you're still here, just let me know, why did you book in Southampton and you living in London? Before I go into a bit more detail on that. Daniela, 8th of August, a couple of weeks away, so you got enough time if you put the effort in. But I don't know how much time you're studying, so I wish you luck with that. Hopefully you're still here. Just let me know why you booked in Southampton and living in London. Southampton is a 2.5 hour drive away. Not to mention you got to find an instructor down there as well. Unless you're taking your own car. Grace, good morning. You passed on Tuesday. Congratulations on passing. Again, thank you for coming to the live and let me know how you got on. I appreciate that. All right, let me... Number 3, I think we're... not me. Number 4. Time flies. 4, 4, 4, 4. Got a full D there, and then goes full C. 2 years. I'm assuming you mean 2 years. Right, sorry. It started off with a D, then went C's, and then we gone back to D's. So you guys are split on this. Oh, you work in Southampton. Oh, that's all right then. No problem. That's still a long way to travel. Do you live in Southampton during the week? And then commute back on the weekend? You don't do that daily, surely? Southampton to London on a daily basis. I don't know if I put this up, I'm gonna put it up again and then put it up again. Right, you guys, C's and D's is what you guys are going for. For how long is the MOT certificate valid for? For how long is an MOT certificate normally valid for? Valid for a year or 12 months. So which one's a year? This one. So why did you guys go for D? Sorry, C. There was C, isn't it? It's not me being blind. Nope, you guys went for C. Some of you went for C 3 years after the date. It was right. Alex, where's that? I know why you guys are going for this. First of all, it's a year. They couldn't put 1 year or 12 months on the real answer, on the real test as an answer. 1 year, 12 months, same, just worded differently. That's the correct answer. 3 years after the date was issued. This is where you guys are getting confused. It says for how long is an MOT certificate normally valid for? It is 12 months or a year. The question this answer belongs to is when does a new car need its first MOTs? After 3 years. So if you buy a brand new car registered in 2026, you won't need an MOT until 2029. Because it's brand new, technically nothing should be going wrong with it. If something does go wrong within that time, then your manufacturer will sort it out under warranty. So that's where the 3 years come from, where it's 3 years for a new car when it needs one. So that's why. At an incident, how could you help a small child who's not breathing? Right, let's do this. Creations, double hazard 4. You got 2 results that you can't get 4 and 5 on our double hazards. 1 complete total. Oh, right, sorry. It's the way you did it, my brain. Sorry. You got 4 on a double. That's what's partly let you down. Because ideally you want a 7 or an 8 on your double, so it brings the average up just in case you get low scores on something else. 5 on 2. So you got the 2 max. 4 on 3. 3 on 3. So what's that so for? 4, 10, 12, 22. 22, 31. 31 on those. What's that? Okay. 2 on 1, 2. Yeah, this is where you've gone wrong. 2 on 1, 2 zeros on 1. Yeah, you don't know what hazard is. So your timing is completely off. Three on 3, your average has to be more than 3. So because you got a low score, if you let me quickly explain this. I shouldn't be analysing this because this is not what it's about. But you got 4 on your double, so technically you're -2 because it's a double. So you should have a minimum of 6. So you're already on -2, and then obviously you got 0. So you got nothing on that. So your average is already down. And you haven't got enough 5s and 4s to bring the average up because your average has to be 3. If your steady average is 3 across all videos, you're scraping a pass. So you can't afford to get of the scores that you got. Let's just keep it simple and quickly. So you're struggling with knowing what a hazard is and when to click. That's your problem at this precise moment. So my advice is, like I said, source that video on my channel. Like I said, it's about 18 minutes. I've broken it down literally about clicking too many times. I've just gone into detail, basically. If you can stick around to the end, I'll do a demonstration, and if you've got any questions on the demonstration, then feel free to ask it. And if I have to do another video for you, as in another demonstration while we're live so you can answer your question, I'll do that for you, because I want you to pass on your next attempt. What are we on? 5? There we go. Some of you still not putting the question number, so I have no idea if you are a number 5 or not. Five A is what you guys gone for. Yeah, open airways and begin cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR, mouth to mouth, basically. What's the speed? Someone was talking about towing. What's the speed limit for a car towing a trailer on the motorway? What's the speed limit for a car towing a trailer on the motorway? So who is asking about the towing question? I don't know if that's the type of thing you're looking for. Hadir, hopefully I'm saying that correct. Welcome, I don't see your name before. Nice, smart profile picture. I have a test tomorrow and I've been taking a mock test via DVSA official app. So far I've passed all 15 tests I've taken. Should be all good. When's your test? Tomorrow. Right, let me just quickly explain, and don't start freaking out. Be very careful. You've taken 15 tests and passed all 15, but you only got 46 on average. So you're getting 4 questions wrong on average. When the mock test isn't designed to show you different questions, it's designed to show you the answers you got wrong on the next test. So if you got 46 out of 50, on the next 50, it technically shows you the 4 questions you got wrong. So if you're doing mock tests back to back, so let's say you did a mock test, got 46, and then done another mock test, those 4 questions that you got wrong comes up straight away, normally in the top first 10 questions. So you answer it. Now you think to yourself, right, I've got a decent score, but the problem is, did you remember it from the previous test you did 5 minutes ago, or did you really understand it? So as much as you're passing the test 15 times, just don't go in there overconfident, because like I said, the mock test gives you a false impression. With mock tests, it's designed to show you your weaknesses, not your strengths. So someone who passes 15 tests, for me, have they learned anything? That's the first thing I would be asking myself. Have they learned anything? Because you learn more from failing than you do with passing. But hopefully, fingers crossed, it goes well for you tomorrow. I'm just saying, when you go in there tomorrow, don't be overconfident. Take your time, break it down just in case. Because I've got people going in there, passing mock test, I'm passing mock test, blah blah blah, and they're going in there, boom 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 boom, boom, and they misread the question and then misread the answer because they're overconfident. So just take your time, just be a little bit cautious tomorrow when you go in there. But I hope it goes well for you. But please come back next week and let us know how you got on. 6 says what you guys got for. I've got a D here. There's a couple of D's. Look, D again. I don't know if I missed a comment, but it came up different types of ways. Yes, it's going to. Like I said, it's worded differently, whatever the question you're talking about, and they're worded differently, different answers. Especially the apps is the same questions. That's what I said, 30 days is a sweet spot. Once you keep studying, seeing the same question over and over, the brain just recognize the question, recognize the answer. But when you're going for the real test, it's worded differently. That's when it throws you. But if you understand the question, it doesn't make a difference how they throw it around. Motorway carriageways. Motorway and carriageways is the same thing. No, let me rephrase that. Motorways and dual carriageways are the same thing. Carriageway could be a single carriageway. So let me just rephrase that and check myself. Motorways and dual carriageways are technically the same thing in terms of the same speed limits. Carriageway is just the word they use for the road, so that could be a single carriageway, different speed limit, dual carriageway, different speed limit. But yes, it's worded differently, but means the same thing. Right, some of you went for D, and some of you went for C. Sorry, this question just popped up, and I want to say, Samuel, good morning to you first. What about a big vehicle, not a car, as in the question? Towing a trailer, what is the speed limit? What about a big vehicle, not a car, as in the question? Right, B. First of all, let me just quickly explain why I'm hesitating. I pick up on words because obviously when you're sitting next to somebody in a car, you have to listen carefully what they're saying and watch their body language. And when I'm in a study camp and we did the Zoom and with especially the live training, I listen to what people say, because that's where you guys get messed up sometimes. You say certain things, but it doesn't tally. So the reason why I'm struggling with this is, I'm not struggling, the reason why I'm careful with it, you said, what about a big vehicle? Now, a big vehicle could mean a big van, for example. Be very careful, because that makes the brain think differently. In terms of big vehicles, you're talking about towing and heavy goods. Don't call it big, call it what it is, because that's how the theory test relates to it. So a heavy goods vehicle and a towing vehicle is different from a car in terms of speed limits. You can have a big vehicle but still do 70 miles an hour. So just be careful with your wording so the brain understands the concept behind it when it's doing the theory test. That's the reason why I'm saying, Right, answer your question though. Heavy goods vehicle, I'm not going to call it a big vehicle. Heavy goods vehicle in towing vehicles, it's 60 miles an hour when towing on a motorway and dual carriageway. It's got it here. So let me break it down here, because that's what the answer is. Sorry, you guys have gone for, there were C's and D's on here. And I think it's, sorry, let me just double check it. 6. Yeah, there's D's and C's as answers. So obviously you guys are confused with that. Let me break it down since it's on there live. What's the speed limit for a car towing a trailer on a motorway? So a car towing and heavy goods vehicle is the same thing, right? So if they say heavy goods vehicle and tow it, is the same answer. It's on a motorway. A simple way of doing this, or remembering, this is how I teach in the class. Know what you can do, and what you is, so let me just get this up. It's on the wrong screen, hold on 1 second. You are a car driver. That's what you is. So you're taking a car theory test. All you need to know is what you can do on a motorway and dual carriageway, which is 70 miles an hour. That's what you can do. Now, when they start talking about towing vehicles and heavy goods vehicles, you minus 10. So I can do 70 on a motorway, but they're now talking about a car towing, so you drop it by 10, so the answer's 60. So it's the answer C. For those of you that went for D, obviously it's wrong. So know what you can do, and then when they talk about towing and heavy goods vehicles, you drop it by 10, but don't call it big vehicles, because like I said, the brain won't tally with that, because there's no thing on here about big vehicles. So hopefully that helps you kind of study a bit better. What should you do when you're approaching this crossing? Again, analyze the image, because the clue's there. I know, like I said, it's, you know what you mean, but when someone says something, for me as a teacher, I like to clarify and make it clear, because I don't know what you mean, if that makes sense. So much as you're saying big vehicles, you probably know you meant towing and heavy goods, but I don't know that, and I don't assume, because once I start to assume a student is saying the right thing and they're not, that's how they fail. So I make sure I dot my I's and always cross my T's when I'm teaching somebody. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Maybe I missed a comment somewhere along the line. These are ones I'll start. Ninja, I'm looking forward to the date. I already did the lesson. I keep looking, but I haven't found it. Keep searching. Trust me, my students are doing the same thing. Monday morning, 6 a.m. is when they release new dates. Some of them have been like 5-6 weeks doing that, and some of them have got dates doing that. But you need to literally be on it as much as possible, morning, noon and night, different times. I don't know if your work or college or whatever it is that allows you to spend a little time. I'll probably have the phone beside you if you're working and just refresh. They come up, but you have to be on the right time to pick them up. Grace, good morning to you. Pass on test on Tuesday. Congratulations. Your videos was very helpful. Thank you so much. No problem. You are welcome. Thank you for coming to the live. Let me know. There is also a new question that I have seen in the last 2 exams. What is the speed limit when dual carriageway? Yeah, I've been saying this for a long time. This has been coming up on the live quite a few times. There's also a new question. Let me just read this out. There's also a new question that I've seen in the last. It's not new. In the last 2 exams, what is the speed limit when dual carriageway ends? Basically what you're saying, 30, 40, 50, 60. There's only 3 speed limits if you think about it. There's 70, well, I haven't got it on here. There's only 3 speed limits when you think about it for a car. Remember, know what you can do. There's 70 miles an hour motorway dual carriageways, 60 miles an hour single carriageways, and 30 miles an hour built up. So if you're not on a dual carriageway, because you said when you're coming off a dual carriageway basically, and you're not going on a single carriageway national speed limit, then it's going to be 30 miles an hour. That's the answer, because you're back in the built up area. So the answer is 30. But I said that's not a quick new question, but it's something that's coming back, because it used to be now heavily a year ago, 18 months ago, but they're starting to bring that question or use it a lot more, is a better way of explaining it. So it is 30 miles now because you're now going back to a built up area. All right, so what are we on? 7? There we go. Right, so it looks like you agree on this one. Right, so I know some of you are typing in the answer, but can you just type the question number and the letter of choice? Because I've got to read that, and my brain is like thinking, is that related to a question? Is it related to a comment? Is it relating to the answer? My dyslexia is just all over the place with all of that. Just type the question number and the letter of choice. Because remember, I've not read the answers, so when I see slow down and stop, I have no idea what you're talking about. What's the speed limit for a car towing a trailer on a single carriageway? What's the speed limit for a car towing a trailer on a single carriageway? As I said, you know what you can do as a car driver. So you as a car driver can do 60 on a single carriageway minus 10. So the answer is 50. I'm assuming it's related to the question. I wish I had pictures on the real test like this. They have got pictures on the real test. It depends what question. You get some questions have pictures, some questions can have pictures and no images. So like I said, you guys are really missing the point here. The one question can have images, the same question have no images. You still need to understand what they're talking about visually or not visual. The question is just worded differently. That's what you got to understand. You guys are so fixated. Some of you is fixated. This is how it should be done. This is how either way it should be done. It still comes down to understanding. If they did it a certain way, and you don't understand, you're still going to fail anyway. the only way to pass, don't get me wrong, some people get lucky. They go in there and all the questions that they study on the app is kind of similar to what they get on the 50 question. But some people are lucky. The pass rate on the theory test is only 47%. So over 50 odd percent of people are failing. And it takes, where they got it from, I don't know, but 3.3, the 3.3 is where they're getting it from, is what I'm saying, where did they get it from? But over 3, you got to take 3 theory tests to pass on average. So it still comes down to understanding. Trust me, I've taught this for over 12 years now, and it still comes down to understanding. When I first started to teach this and people were failing, in my head, I'm thinking, how could you fail a test so simple? But I was seeing it from a driver's instructor's point of view, not a learner's point of view. It's only when I started to do the mock test myself and think to myself, hold on a minute, the questions are confusing. And sometimes they don't give you all the information you need to answer the question. They give you clues in it, but not all the information you need. And I'll give you another example in a minute, but I will do this after the question because that's what you guys are here. Let me just do this 7. Sorry, guys, gone for 7A. I will give an example I'm talking about. What should you do? Yeah, slow down. Be prepared to slow down and stop. Pedestrians have priority. That's also the clues in the image because you've got pedestrians there. If no pedestrians were there, it would be prepared to slow down and stop if necessary or something along those lines. But it's telling you what to do because there's someone there. But if there was no one there, you may need to prepare to slow down, but not necessarily stop. Right, you're funding a large vehicle. Why should you stay a safe distance behind it? Now, what I was saying before about the clues to the question, sometimes I ask you questions and not give you the full information. Example, again, I teach this in the class. When they talk about dual carriageways, motorways, one-way roads, you have to see it as 3 lanes. They don't always give that information in the question. It's a 3-lane motorway, it's a 3-lane dual carriageway. They just say it's a motorway. So I repeat, when they talk about motorways, dual carriageways, or mention one-way roads, if it's not in the question, see it as 3 individual lanes. It makes it easier to answer the question as well. But they don't tell you that. And this is what I'm talking about. They don't give you all the information, but you need the understanding. The apps don't give you the understanding as well. What they're really expecting to do is study and do a bit of research. So whether you've got images or not, it doesn't make you understand the question, is what I'm trying to say. You guys are going for A on this. You'll give the driver a chance to see you in the mirrors. So this answer is true. Don't get me wrong. There's a saying we have: if you can't see their mirrors, they can't see you, which is true. But on the real test, this sometimes is so it gives you a better view of the road, and that's the main reason why you're staying back. Not necessarily so they can see you in the mirrors, it's so you can see the road, so you can keep yourself safe. But again, same question, could be a different answer. What should you do if you want to turn left at a junction where pedestrians have started to cross? Right, so let me just knock out some of these. Like I said, I sent you my email, your email address for driving one email address because last week I took my driving. Last week you took your driving test. You mean your theory test because you was taking a theory test. Okay, I'll read the email afterwards. Let me just crack on that. But I'm sure you mean theory test though. Good morning, boss. Thanks for all you do. Always think. Abdul, I'm hoping you're thanking me because I'm thanking your friend because you passed, but you haven't said much other than that. But anyway, thank you for the words. Thank your friend for me, by the way, for the referral. And I appreciate all of you that refer the channel to your friends, because the more people see it, the more people I get to, and I can help them pass their theory test. So I appreciate the referrals on that. First of all, welcome. Hi, so I hope you're doing well. I had my theory test last week. I had 40 multiple choice and 44 has a perception. 10 questions wrong. So there's, like I said, once you get to like 10 questions wrong, there's a lack of knowledge. And has perception is a scrape. You passed it, but you scraped it. So both of those sections need a little bit more work on that. I said, do you know when I was doing my test for initial instruction stage, someone to my left was doing the has perception. He did lots of repeated clicking for 2 to 3 clips, so it gave him no points. Fair enough, but I wouldn't be worried about how many times someone clicked next to me. My focus would be totally on me. People will click too many times. You'd be surprised how many people take a test and don't know how it works. I had pupils in the past go for a test and didn't even know the hazard perception was part of the test. All they knew was the questions. So when the hazard perception bit came up, you know what the result was. They were surprised that was there, had no idea what they're doing. So a lot of people do take the theory test without knowing how it works. That's why I always do an overview. I don't assume everyone here knows how it works. I know most of you come here every single week, so that part's got to be boring for you guys. But unfortunately, as I said, I don't leave things to chance. I don't assume. Number 9. You see, the other thing you guys got to look at is that you may be doing the best practice, studying the right way, doing everything correct, but it doesn't mean to say other people are. And I know that from experience by teaching. So that's why I never assume. I'm assuming, first of all, I don't think I've seen your name before. I passed, I don't know what it means, but hopefully that means you've passed your theory test. If so, well done to you. What do you mean by live videos? They're all videos, pre-recorded videos. They're not live, and they're all CGIs. I saw that question somewhere else. What does an arrow up and an arrow down in a red triangle mean on Q1 way street? You don't get that on a one-way street, can't. It's impossible. One way is one way. What does an arrow up and an arrow down in a red triangle mean on a one-way street? So let me just read that again. You see, like I said, I've got dyslexia, so as much as I'm reading this, that doesn't make sense. But it's the question that doesn't make sense, but I'm trying to visualize it, so just give me a minute. Doing it live. What does an arrow up and an arrow down in a triangle mean? No. Right, you first of all, you can't, that's what's confusing me. You can't get an arrow up and an arrow down on one-way street. It's one way. So it would be a blue, for one way, it'd be blue background, white arrow in a rectangle. That's one way, so that can't happen. The one you're talking about is give way to oncoming traffic. So the one you're talking about is you have to give way to oncoming traffic. The one where you have priority, because that's where this one came from. If the white arrow is big and pointing to you, you have priority, and the small black arrow means they have to give way. So that's a different color altogether. So it's a blue box, big white arrow going up. So you have priority. That's true, but it's not in a triangle. So that's true. But the one you're talking about is that you have to give way to oncoming traffic. That's a red triangle, but you cannot have that on a one-way street because the triangle means it's two-way. So that's what's confusing me. Sorry, what are we on? Number 9. I think I've done them, didn't I? Yeah, so you guys went for C. Let's give way to them, innit? So give way to them. They're crossing the road. Pedestrians always going to have priority. Oh, When may front fog lights be used? I talk about car towing and traveling on different types of road, please. Yeah, we've done that. Towing, motorway, dual carriageways, 60 miles an hour. Single carriageways is 50 miles an hour. Solomon, good morning to you. I passed my theory test early this year, precisely April, and just passed my practice. Well done to you, passed your driving test. That's what it's about. On Thursday, second attempt. Again, if you're Solomon, if you're still here, this was up a long time ago. If you're still here, let me know what area you've done your driving test. But well done, and thank you for coming to let me know. Like I said, it's about you guys completing the journey, not half the journey. Got my test. Got text there. Got my test coming up soon. What advice would you give me? Keep studying. There's not much more I can do to that. Keep studying, making sure your knowledge is solid. And hopefully you are passing mock tests. Even though mock test is a guide, it's not gospel. You are passing mock tests on a regular basis. But the most important thing is the questions you are getting wrong, you are restudying those so you don't get them wrong again. The other thing I would say is, as you approach your test, especially the week of the test, start to do full mock tests, the full 50 questions and the full hazard perception back to back, to train the brain to be totally focused, because most of you just keep doing one or the other. As you approach your test, you want to do both, so you're trained mentally to stay strong for the hour 20 minutes. What time do you start live every day? I don't go live every day. If you're talking about Sundays, it is 10 a.m. In the study camp, that's 5 o'clock, but that's a course, that's not YouTube. I got a test tomorrow. Please, can you help me with what? You got to tell me what you want help with. Number 10. As I said, you guys want help. You got to be detailed in terms of what you want help with. There we go. You guys are going to see. C, where are we? When visibility is seriously reduced. Does anybody know, as a bonus, how much it has to be reduced? That's actually a question, by the way. So again, same question. When may front lights can't get my words out. Let's try again. When may front fog lights be used? This may not be the answer. They may ask you for the units. Does anybody know what the actual distance is when the fog lights have got to be turned on? As a bonus. So just put in the comments if you know what the distance is. Triangles. Which sign means that pedestrians may be walking along the road? Right, Emmanuel, thank you for your videos. Really. Congrats, 72 has a perception. Wow, missed it by 3. The max. Well done to you. And thank you for coming to the live session. Let me know that you passed it. It's amazing. 72 out of 75. It's really high. Okay, that's fine. Done that. Richard, again, welcome. I've not seen your name before. 49, missed it by 1, 49 at 50, 59, 75. So congratulations on passing. Appreciate that. keep failing the hazard about passing the multiple choice. That's because you don't know what a hazard is. If you're passing the multiple choice, that's the most difficult part. The hazard perception, once you know what a hazard is and what you're looking for, it's the same for every video. A hazard is just something that calls you to slow down or change direction. And it's going to be different things in the video, but it's the same outcome. Did it cause me to slow down? Did it cause me to change direction? If it's yes, click. So that's what your problem is. You don't know what a hazard is. Don't know what a hazard is or what you're looking for. Send out some love on that. Could you please explain 6 types of crossings we have? Also, what's the speed limit for a caravan tow? Again, just done the towing caravan things, a single carriageway. You as a car driver on a single carriageway do 60 miles an hour, towing the vehicle, take 10 away is 50. The 6 types of crossings. Is there 6? So you guys study different from me. I just know the crossings. All right, let's see. Zebra crossing, puffin, pelican, equestrian crossing, toucan crossing, and tiger crossing. Let's just do it again. You got your... All right, let's do it again. Zebra, tiger, similar thing. Pelican, puffin, toucan, and equestrian. Yeah, 6. All of them, all of the lights one, the puffin, the equestrian crossing, the lights are the same, go up. With images, just in case you don't know, I always teach with images, go from bottom to top. So what I'm saying with that one is, so let me go back onto the screen so it comes up. When you look at images, you should always be looking from bottom, see yourself from bottom to top. Why? Because we drive on the left, we drive up the road, we park up on the left. So you should always be looking at your image from bottom to top. So with traffic lights, you work from the bottom going up. So it's green at the bottom, steady amber, then red. So when it asks you what color comes after whatever, so what color comes after green, it's going up, single colors. When it comes down as a double, so it comes down as red and amber. So if they say to you what color comes after red, then you now know it's coming down because it's red. So it's red and amber. Again, another way of remembering stuff and looking at signs and knowing it easier. But yeah, that's the 6 crossings. But like I said, I didn't even know there were 6 crossings. I just know the crossings. But like I said, everyone studies differently. Number 11. These got it, 100 meters. Is it 100 meters? No, it's 100. Yes, meters, sorry, 100 meters. I went blank then. Yeah, 100 meters when you turn your lights on, poor visibility. So again, if just in case they ask you that question, what's the distance? You're looking at 100 meters when you turn your lights on for poor visibility. Okay, another one. We've got 100, but nothing. Another question then, with lights. Why do you turn your lights on? Sophie, I've not seen you before, so welcome to you. Thank you for answering. 3 questions in cycling crossing. 11A. So you guys know 100 meters. Question mark. Wasn't sure. Zeta. A. Yeah. If you break the question down. Oops, wrong one. Let's get that back up first. Which sign means that pedestrians may be walking along the road? So again, if you take my advice that I just gave you with images, you're going up. So it's elderly people crossing. You've got pedestrian crossing or zebra crossing, and then you've got this is a school zone, but obviously children run across the road, so they're all going across your path because you're driving up. The question says walking along the road, so they're walking along the road. And again, the follow-up questions for this is which side of the road would they be walking on? It's the driver's left. just in case you didn't know, and walking towards the driver or away from the driver. And they're walking towards the driver. It's actually law. When you're walking in the countryside, you should be walking on the driver's left and walking towards the driver. Why? Now it's for the driver to see you. Back in the day when this came out, it's for you to see them. But with headphones, mobiles, they may not hear you or see you because they're looking down. So it's for you to see them. So these are all follow-up questions on the real test. It doesn't come up on the app, but these are all follow-up questions on the real test. Let me get rid of this. There you go. This, look, we're talking about towing and stuff, and the questions popping up. It's like the app is listening in. What's the speed limit for a car towing a caravan on a dual carriageway? Dual. I just gave you the answer for a single carriageway, so now it's a dual carriageway. See if you guys remember, know how to work it out. See, Daniel's got it, so others can see you more clearly. You turn your lights on for better visibility. The answer, yeah, you turn it on for you turn your lights on for better visibility, but the reason why you turn your lights on so you can see and be seen from a distance. Okay, since you guys are hot on the lights, last one, bonus. Oh, you guys got quick internet. 12C. What time should you turn your lights on? So let's see if you know that one. So what time? So you turn your lights on to see and to be seen or poor visibility. The question now, again, it comes up on the real test, not on the app. What time should you turn, or when should you turn your lights on? So I'm not looking for visibility. We're not looking for to see and to be seen. So when should you turn your lights on? In other words, what time should you turn your lights on? Let's see if you guys know that one. I got a D here. I got A. Change your answer, C. So I've got to assume C is correct. C. 60 miles an hour. What's the speed limit for a car towing a caravan or dual carriageway? So dual carriageway for a car. This is how you want to be doing it. Just in case, because some of you are still getting it wrong here. Dual carriageway is the key. So dual carriageway is 70 miles an hour for you, car driver, and then break the question down. You're now towing, so you drop it by 10. So 70 for you as a car driver, but you're now towing, so you're minus 10. That's why it's easy for you to know what you can do and then just take away or add whatever it needs to be. Right, number 13. What lights should you use when you're driving on a wet motorway and vehicles are thrown up surface spray? It's like the absolute name. We're talking about towing, talking about lights, and it's giving us questions. That's spooky. All right, let me finish the comments that you guys have. 6 crossings I did. Back. I'm going to take a rest today on Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I work at a superstore. That's fine. It's not a problem. I'm just glad you turned up. I fell second. I'm so nervous for tomorrow. Like I said, nerves is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Just don't let the nerves control you. I fail as well in questions. I'm finding writing the question and the right answers down to the questions you get wrong now. I'm assuming you mean that helps a lot. Like I said, everybody's different. For me, reading and writing wouldn't be my choice, but talking it out loud helps me. Hence why I do a lot of talking when I do the questions on here. But I repeat, you have to find what's right for you. Don't compare yourself. I'm not saying you are, by the way. Don't compare this is for everybody. Don't compare yourself to other people. Just because someone passed and you didn't, it doesn't make you more stupid than they are, blah, blah, blah. It's just you're not doing the study in the right way to get the answers that the DVSA require. You just have to do what it takes for you. So if it means, I don't know, 20 minutes studying every day as opposed to 1 hour every day, if it means writing stuff down, if it means researching YouTube or Google or AI, whatever it does, whatever it takes for you to do what you need to do to get the understanding, then do it. There's no right or wrong way. But sometimes you guys look across the road and think, oh, they passed on the first attempts. How can't I pass on the first attempt? Oh, they did it with cramming. So why can't I do it with cramming? Everybody's different. And that's how you have to look at it. You keep saying I failed in questions. I'm not sure if that's a question or you're just making a statement. Number 13. You see, you got at sunset. So let's make sure I haven't missed it. See, it's not at sunset. There's a bit you're missing there. Close though. Close. Yep, we know when visibility is poor. Let me just do these 13s. So let me go back and start out. I've got C here. Right, so I've got 2 B's. Well, not 2 B. Right, 2 B's then. Oh, I've got a B here as well. So hold on, am I going? Right, so B's the correct answer, but I've got C's in here. Let me just do that again. Right, I've got C's in here, so B seems to be the correct answer. Yeah, it's dipped. Any bog standard light questions where it's going to be dipped. C's hazard warning lights. Why would you go for hazard warning? It's not a hazard. What lights should you use when you're driving on a wet motorway and vehicles are throwing up surface spray? When it's a bog standard light question, the answer is always going to be dipped. Just be careful though when you go for the real test. Sometimes they drop the dipped. So it's just headlights. So if you're looking for dipped headlights or headlights as your answer on the real test. What should you do when you're driving along a road that has a series of road humps? Right, so D, let me just clarify. It's half an hour after sunset. So let me just clarify. On the real test, they can ask you when should you turn your lights on if poor visibility is not there or less than 100 meters is not there. You're looking for half an hour after sunset is the answer you're looking for. Not at sunset, half an hour after sunset. How do you know when it's half an hour after sunset? When the street lights are on. So if the council's turn on the street lights for people to see to walk, you should turn your lights on so you can see to drive. But well done, D, don't know in that bit. Let me finish this. No, I don't know if you're still here because this was up a long time ago. Good morning, Doran. I wanted to ask you a question. Come from the Ferry app. Are worded differently, right? I'm not sure what you're saying. Good night. Yeah, you can get questions out of the app. The DVSA releases X amount of questions. So let me just quickly explain. DVSA are the governing body who sets the theory test and the driving test. They release the questions to licensed users. So all the apps you're paying for, whatever one you use, are licensed. Trainers like me, I'm licensed by the DVSA. That's why I can use this stuff on the live without getting copyright issues and all the rest of it. And they let us know what questions are taken out of the app and what questions or new questions they're adding in to the app. So some of the questions from the app will be in the real test. Some of them will be worded differently and there'll be questions that you have never seen before. It's just a mixture. So either way, it's still about understanding. So the one thing you want to avoid, and I keep stressing this, is memorizing the app questions and answers. Because they can word it slightly differently. But yes, you can get questions from the app. They're just slightly worded differently, or it could be the exact wording. You just don't know how your 50 questions is going to be made up. Do you do hands perception on Sunday? I do a demonstration, not a full tutorial, but I do a demonstration and explain it live. 14. What you guys got to understand is when you're studying arcs, I've got a D here. Obviously read the question, answer the question, but say to yourself, what does it mean? The answer, especially tricky words, and ask yourself how else can it be worded in that type of thing. And similar to what I was doing just now, thinking about the different options with the lights, which is turn your lights on when it's poor visibility, turn your lights on when it's less than 100 meters, turn your lights on half an hour after sunset, stuff like that. It's all the same question, it's just different answers. But if you always know it as poor visibility, now when that poor visibility is not there, that's when you start panicking and freaking out. Sorry, what did you guys go for? 14 C, and I've got a D here, so let's take a look at C. Stay at reduced speed for the whole trip of the road. What was D? Brake firmly when you reach each road hump. No, braking firmly is not necessary. That's wear and tear. That's the reason why it's not that one. Stay at a reduced speed, which is your traffic calming measure. Just in case you don't know, traffic speed humps are traffic calming measures. There's 3 types of traffic calming measures: speed humps, width restrictions, and chicanes. And they can ask about width restrictions and chicanes on the real test as well. Same answer, just reduce your speed, but it's not road humps. What does this sign mean? Let me just bring this up a touch so you can see the bottom answer. I think we covered that one, the one-way road. You can't get a triangle on a one-way road. Have you got a date booked? So have you got another theory test date booked? And this is why I said at the beginning of the live session, believe it or not, once you pass the theory test, get on your driving lessons. Do not wait, because like I said, you don't know how long it's going to take to to get a driving test date. In some cases, it's up to 6 months. People are trying and waiting to get a date. So that's half a year gone. And if you've got no driving experience, it's going to take you half a year to be ready for a driving test. That's a year gone. And another year, if life gets in the way, this is what I'm talking about. So I've just got to go around and do it again. And even though you've passed it the first time, some questions are taken out, some questions are added in. It's changed slightly. So if you've done it 2 years ago, you're going to see a lot more first aid questions in there that wasn't there 2 years ago, about the defibrillator. And what you're going to see in there as well, 2 years, what's changed in 2 years? ADAS questions as well. So that's going to be kind of new to you. ADAS questions and your first aid. Simple enough to learn, don't get me wrong, but it's stuff that you didn't come across on 2 years ago. But I wish you luck with that though. And Debbie, I live in... That's fine, because I just thought you lived in London. That's the only one you can get in Southampton. Because you can't change it to London, it's too far away. But if you live in Southampton, that's fine. So if you work in Southampton, that's fine. It's not a problem at all. Southampton roads are slightly better than London. It depends what part of London you live, obviously, but slightly better in London, because London, that's crazy. Just crazy driving, or crazy drivers. What are we on? 15. Well, I wish you luck with the Southampton test, though. 15C. Yeah, give way to trams. It's tram. It says give way. Got all of it in there. Alright, I'll give you another little quiz then. Let's see who. Let's make sure I'm on the right screen. Does anyone know? Because they can ask you this on the real test. What the X is called? Not what the X does means. What is the X called? So I'll repeat the question. Does anyone know what the X is called? I'll leave it there for a couple more seconds so you can digest it. I repeat, does anyone know what the X is called? What should you check before you start a journey in foggy weather? Could you please explain cruise control? Yeah, cruise controls on cars. So basically, you can actually do it in 30 miles an hour, but mainly it's used for 70 miles an hour or faster roads. You just set it. So if the speed limit is 70 miles an hour, you just set the cruise control to be 70 miles an hour, and it keeps the speed regulated for you at 70 miles an hour, so you don't have to squeeze the gas. That's what it does. And if you've got the car with the ADAS bits and pieces on it, so if you get too close, the less than 2 second gap, it actually slows the car down for you. So you're literally just cruising. All you're doing is, it's just short of a driverless car, if that makes sense. So you set it, and all you do is steer the wheel, and the car does the rest in terms of keeping you slow and bringing it up to 70 miles an hour. You can't go over on cruise control. So you can set it in the 30 zone as well and do cruising at 30 miles an hour. So that's all the cruise control is. Just set the speed, set, leave, forget it, and then the car does the rest. You just steer and do what you need to do to keep yourself safe. $16. Level. Oh, they're talking about the red X. No, it doesn't mean level crossing. If you're talking about what it means in terms of that sense, it's level crossing without gate or barrier. By the way, it's not level crossing. It means level crossing. The question was, what's it called? I didn't answer what it means. So the red X, just in case you guys don't know, means level crossing without gates or barrier. But the question was, got another level crossing there. The question was, what's it called? Can you pass your driving test? No, you got to pass the theory first because you're going to use that knowledge for your driving test. $16C. Yep. How is a toucan crossing different from a puffin crossing? That's an interesting question. How is a toucan crossing different from a puffin crossing? Someone mentioned about 6 crossings there. Right, the red X is called a St Andrew's Cross. So if it comes up on the test and asks you what the red X is called, the red X is called a St Andrew's Cross. The meaning is level crossing level crossing without gate or barrier. So that's what that means. God, you got a fast internet. 17 just popped up straight away. All right, let's just do this. Good morning to you. Letter B, Lee. Hey guys, I passed mine 3 times and they all ran out. Wow. So you have to redo use. 3 times, that's 6 years. Hopefully you don't let it happen again. Like I said, life gets in the way. You just don't know what life's gonna throw up. So when you get your theory, just get on with the driving side of it. But that's perseverance for you. Well done to you. I live in Palmer's Green. Palmer's Green. I used to do intensive courses down there just by the Morrison's. And that's where we used to meet the students. We had the classroom there. I forgot the name of the road now. But then we stopped the classroom, brought it online, and then we used to meet the pupils in the Morrison's car park for Monday morning and did the driving lessons, the intensive course around that area. And we used Tottenham Test Centre as our nearest one. We did use Wood Green now and again because it's just down the road from there, but mainly was Tottenham. They've gone down to 20 miles an hour around Palmer's Green. Now, when I left, was it about 3-4 months ago, they was actually changing the signs down to speed limits down to 20 miles an hour. I live in Palmer's Green. Local. Number 17. So you guys come to A. 2 can cross. Got C. Change this A. How is 2 can crossing different from a path in pedestrians? So I'm going to use it together. Yeah, that's what it stands for. 2 can cross at the same time. Cyclists, and let me explain the difference, because it said pedestrians and cyclists can use it together, which suggests something like Pelican and Puffins. They can use it together. Cyclists can legally ride across on a 2 can. That's what it stands for. 2 can cross at the same time. So this crossing, the 2 can, is the only one, they light control, that is, they can ride across. All the others, they should get off their bike and wheel it across. You don't see people doing it, but that's what they should be doing. Wheel the bike across. 2 can, they can legally ride across. The other one they can ride across, but it's not light controlled, is a tiger crossing. They can ride across that one as well. What should you do when you're approaching traffic lights that have red and amber showing together? Lessons don't mean you'll pass very good. I'm assuming that's the conversation you guys were having, because you said the comment's gone. But lessons don't mean you'll pass theory. Comment gone, so can't blah blah blah. I didn't see the comment, so I can't comment on the comment. Lessons, I don't know if you're talking about driving lessons or theory lessons. Lessons or studying doesn't mean that you're going to pass. Just because sometimes you're studying, but you don't know if you're studying the right way or the right thing, or giving yourself enough knowledge. The only way you're going to know that is by taking a test, whether it's a theory or driving, and then see what the result is. Hopefully it's a positive result, so you move on with your life. But if it's a negative result, you've got to take it as a positive that makes sense. So what I mean by that, you've never done a theory test before, you go and take it, you get a 42 out of 50. Yes, you're disappointed, yes, you're frustrated, but you've now got data, you've got 8 questions wrong. But the paperwork tells you the categories you need to go and revise. And that's how you strengthen your knowledge. You go and fill those gaps. You may have to take it a second time, same thing happens. Then you take it a third time, but each time you're filling the gap. That's what you should be doing. I mean, at some point you're going to pass. The only thing you're trying to do is reduce the amount of times you're taking it. But I repeat, like I said earlier, even the stats on the DVSA site, only 47% of people are passing, and it's taking people 3.3 attempts to pass. So there's no embarrassment taking the test again and again and again. It's just frustrating and obviously time consuming and obviously expensive, but there's no embarrassment in it. 18. So if it doesn't go your way, just hold your head up high and just say, look, this is what I got wrong, this is what I'm going to study, and then go again. 18C is what you guys are going for. Wait for the green light. Yeah, green means go if it's safe to do so, so wait for green. Red and amber together is get ready, just in case, for those of you not doing your driving lessons. Red and amber means get ready, that's your, what we call preparation. And then observations, waiting for the green light, and then M is move, POM for short. But you learn that on your driving lesson. You wish to turn right ahead, why should you take up the correct position in good time? Just a quick question. I'll put the comment back up. You said you passed 3 times, which is credit to you, by the way, to keep coming back and retaking it because it's run out on you. Have you been taking lessons in this time when you've been taking your theory test? So the question I'm asking, basically, once you pass this time round, are you good to go for a driving test? Or do you still need to take driving lessons to get up to speed because you didn't get around to taking driving lessons? Because like I said, I know a lot of people pass their theory and they think, right, I'm going to do my driving lessons, but life has got in the way. So have you been taking driving lessons in the meantime? First of all, welcome to the channel, D. Had my test yesterday and watched a couple of your videos in the past 48. Well done to you. 48. Thank you for coming to live and let me know. 48 out of 50. Well done at 56.75. So again, what are you up to now? Driving lessons or driving test? 19D is what you guys are going for. Yeah, your car's positioning is a signal in itself. When you're driving normally, you stay a meter from the curb, so people know you're in a driving position. When turning right, you want to position to the right, so people know you're looking to turn right at some point. That's the reason why. You see a horse rider as you approach a roundabout. What should you do if they're signaling right but keeping well to the left? If you're licensed, why is the app giving you 20 questions instead of 50 questions? Wow. First of all, I've got no need to lie about what I do. That's the first thing. Secondly, if I'm using the app, then it should be giving me 50 questions. That's the second thing. So the way you're making it sound like I'm using the app and it's not licensed, that's why it's giving me 20 questions. The reason why I'm using 20 questions and not 50, because 50 is a mock test. It's 57 minutes. I'm taking time out to read your comments and answer your questions and explain the answers in full so you have the full understanding. If I did a 50 question mock test, I can't do that in 57 minutes. I was on since 10 o'clock. It's now 11:46. Do your maths. So I wouldn't be able to do a 50 question mock test and answer your questions and comments. The live is more based on to show you how to work out answers, how to fully understand it. So that's why I do over 20, because I chose the 20 questions because it fits in a 2-hour schedule. I have to still respect your time because you haven't got all Sunday to give me your time to do that. So that's the reason why. But if you're doubting my credentials, that's fine. I ain't got a problem with that. But that's the reason why. My app is licensed. And that's why I can use it without getting copyright issues. So hopefully that answers your question. So you guys are going for D. Yeah, stay well back. The reason why, because again, they can substitute this for cyclists. A cyclist horse rider signals left or right, which direction can go. The answer is any direction. They would choose the safest positioning for them, not the same as a car. Because if you're turning right, it did say right, didn't it? Yeah, if you're turning right at the roundabout as a car driver, you should be in a right-hand lane, not staying left. So that's the reason why you stay well back. So as I mentioned earlier on, let's just move this over a little bit. Oops. So you can see it. Your theory test is made up of 14 different categories. This was 20 question mock test. Let me just highlight that 20 question mock test and 10 different categories. And we've actually got motorway rules free, vehicle handling, free, and road and traffic signs free. As I said, you don't know how your real real test will be made up, and that's the reason why I suggest you do your categories first before going on to doing mock test. So hopefully you guys got something out of that and learned something out of that, even though it's only a 20 question mock test and not a 50 like some people want. Let's just see the comments on there, just make sure before we move on. Out of 20, I'm not passing. I'm not offended, trust me on that. Too old to be offended. I'm not saying you're lying, just asking. Like I said, I'm not offended by it. Just a weird question to be asking, but hey. Right, let me do hazard perception. Let me get my iPad out. So someone asks a question, can you do theory test first and then hazard perception? But no, they didn't. They asked me, can you do a driving test first and then the theory test after? And I said no. Reason why, because this is a driving test report sheet, and you get a copy of this once you do your driving test pass or fail. You get a copy, it goes into your email. They'll email it to you now, and this is your theory packaged up here. So I'll go back to what I said. The theory test is about safety and control. On the left hand side of the sheet is all about control. So on your driving test, the left hand side is all about control, but you do get questions about your coasting, which would be your clutch, why being the clutch down is dangerous. So it's coasting. You do get questions about your foot brake, not dazzling other road users. How should you not dazzle other road users? Come off the foot brake, use the handbrake. So that's all at that side. And then you come to your theories, your majority of your theory, which is your traffic signs. That's your triangles, red circles, blue circles. Someone asked about the triangle with the arrow going up and arrow going down, so going there. Road marking. Someone asked me about the white lines in the middle of the road. Traffic lights, we got quite a few questions about traffic lights. Traffic controllers, which is your guys with the flat palm and the flat back hand. Other road users, which are pedestrians, which you saw. Cyclists, horse rider was another one that came up on that one. Someone asked about pedestrian crossings. There's 6 of them, which I didn't even realise, because I just know the crossings. So there you go. Position, normal driving. Question about turning right. Why should you take up the position nice and early? Position number 23, position normal driving. So you can see how you use that knowledge for your driving lessons. That's the reason why you got to pass your theory test first. Now, you can take driving lessons while you're studying for the theory, because it goes hand in hand. You're learning, it's not a problem. But you can't take a driving test because now you're going to get your license. The knowledge has to be in place before they give you the license. And that's what happens on the test day. You use that knowledge to get you through your driving test. So hopefully that all kind of makes sense. But now we come to the hazard perception, which is your mirror section of your driving. So use your mirrors before you signal, change of direction, and change of speed. That's what the mirrors are for. That's what you click in. So when you see a problem, you click, or when you see a hazard, you click. That's what they're training you. On the video, you can't see. Can't get rid of it. Don't worry about that. You can't see the signaling on your videos, so they don't look for that. They look for you changing direction, and they look for you slowing down. So let me just come out of that. So let me just quickly explain a hazard. I think it was something creations. Let me see if I can find them. I don't know if they're still here. See if I can find it. Where are you? Yes, this one. Pope Creations. So a hazard is anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction. So when you're watching the video, you've got to think to yourself, is that going to cause me to slow down? Is that going to cause me to change direction? If the answer is yes, you click. And then what you want to do is click twice per problem. What they don't tell you in the videos, when they explain it, they said as soon as you click, the sooner you click, the higher score you get. What they're not telling you, if you click too soon, you're going to get a 0. So it's not about you seeing the problem, because you can see it and still get 0. That means nothing. It's about you getting a score for the problem. And the way to eliminate you getting 0s is to click twice. So you see the problem, you click, and then you go 1, 2, and then click again. So if the first one was too early, the second one lands in the 5 or the 4. If the second one, if the first one landed in the 5 and the second one lands in the 3, they're going to give you the highest mark anyway. So there's no benefit in clicking once. Lots of benefits in clicking twice, but no benefits in clicking once. So let me just do a demonstration with that. So let me share my screen. So you can see I use driving test success. And has perception. I'll do 2 as I usually do. I'll do a real life poor qualities. Do this one. I've got no stars. And I'll do a commentary drive. So I'll tell you what I'm looking at. When you're watching the videos or driving in real life, you should be scanning the road from left to right, right to left. I'm changing lanes there. Car coming out on my left. The sign tells me the road narrows on the, no it doesn't, the lane's closed off on my left, so I've got to start looking to see what's happening. Can't see anything. Right, the car in front of me slowing down, and the white car's coming in on my left. Again, keep going because it could be your double. Again, try to look as far ahead as you can see in the video, and again, when you have your driving lesson, look as far ahead as you can see and then work your way back to where you're at. Again, nothing else is going on. Brake lights, 4 out of 5. So always look back or review to see if you can improve. So all the ones before were red herrings. So we just come to here. So the car was braking in front of me, brake lights. So if he's slowing down, I may need to slow down. That's the reason why I've clicked. So you can see my first 2 clicks was too soon. And then the white car. So that's 2 different problems, 2 different clicks. So I'm not using the same 2 clicks for the same 2 problems. So every time you see a problem, you want to do 2 separate clicks. So I'll just show you that again. So the first problem is the black car in front using brake lights. Brake light says they're slowing down. Remember, hazards, anything that's going to cause you to slow down or change direction. So he slowed down, I'm slowing down. There's my 2 clicks. Now I'm looking to the car on my left because the sign beforehand told me the left lane closes off. So he's now slowing down and coming in front. So there's my click as a 4. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me just rewind it back so you can see what I was talking about. Look for clues. there's the sign to my left, tells me the left lane closed off. And with the white car to my left, at some point it's going to come in. So there's a clue. I've got to work out when he's going to be doing that. There's another clue further down if I can spot it. Here it goes again. And that's why you scan the road from left to right, right to left, because road signs are on the left. When people drive, they drive what we call blinker. They just keep looking straight. You need to drive and start looking left and right. So when you're driving, you're literally doing this very slowly from pavement to pavement. Because if you just keep looking straight, all you're going to see is directly what's in front of you. You're going to miss road signs and speed limits. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me come out of that and just see if there's any other comments. You're going to be doing automatic. That's fine. There's no problem with that. There's a question. What advice do you give someone? There's no advice I can give other than take driving lessons. Get used to it. Because if you're driving left-hand car, you're changing gears with your different hand as well. So yeah, there's nothing more I can give other than take driving lessons without getting used to it. It becomes repetitive. It becomes muscle memory after that when you're taking driving lessons. But I wouldn't bypass that. Well done to you, passing your motorcycle theory test. I'm going to do your bike test soon, are you? I think you can get bike tests a lot quicker than you can get car tests, but correct me if I'm wrong with that. Alright, so no one's asked any questions about the hazard perception. Let me do another one, which is a CGI. I think I've done most of these now. Anyway, so there's not one that I can... let's just do this one. So, share screen. So hopefully that makes sense to the guys who struggled on hazard perception. If it's not, type it in the comment section and let me know. Right, so, snow. Again, scan the road from left to right, right till there's a car coming out on my left. So I'm going to click. So he's sliding all over the place. The van's coming out. So if the van's coming out, the car did. So again, I'm going to click again. I think I messed up on that one. If you have to go for 3 clicks, then go for 3 clicks. Don't forget it's about getting a score. Don't be worried about how much time you're clicking. Because if you click on things that exist, you can't add up to too many clicks unless you're clicking 10 times for the one problem. So if you have to go for 3 clicks for that problem, then don't be afraid to do that. Just get that score, just in case I skid. Let's go with the last one, surely. 4 out of 5. So again, look to see how you can improve. Let me just speed up for the sake of the video. So the car's coming out, so I don't know if he's going to stop. That's why I clicked. And then with the van, I think it was, I don't know if he's going to be doing the same as the car. So that's why I've clicked for that. Oh, could I see it sooner? Yeah, it's right on the side. I could have probably clicked sooner for that. But 4 out of 5 still gives me more than my average, because remember you need to average 3 across the video. Let me just quickly show you. I've done a 3rd click because I thought I messed up. I'm not leaving it to chance. If I think I've messed up, I'm going to go for a 3rd one. Gave me a 1, but just imagine the first 2 was a 0, just for argument's sake. Because I thought I messed up, I clicked. Getting a 1 is still better. Getting a 1 is still better than getting a 0, because the 1s and 2s can still add up if you bring the average up, getting the 5s and 4s. So if you think you've messed up, do not be afraid to go for another click, because you don't know when that scoring pattern starts or finishes. So there's no point guessing, oh, it's too late, so I didn't click. It's going to be too late if you don't click. But if you click, it stands a chance of being a 1 or a 2. That's the difference between passing and failing. So don't be afraid to go for 3 clicks if you have to. And as you can see with the rest of the video, there was no more danger, so I didn't click again. So there's no chance. So there's 2 at the end. There's no chance of me over clicking on the video. So you should never go into the video counting the clicks. You should just be saying, that's a problem, I'm clicking. That's a problem, I'm clicking. If you do that, it's never going to add up to too many clicks. So hopefully that helps those who are struggling on hazard perception. I'm hoping to do it real soon. I wish you luck with that. You're braver than I am, because I would never ride a motorbike, but each to their own with that. I always stick to the metal box. Can you please explain red roots? Again, what is it that you want me to explain? You guys got to go in a bit more detail. Let me just give you an overview for red roots. Double reds. Let me break it down even more. I'll give you all the information you need. Single yellows, single reds are waiting restrictions. It means you can drop off, pick up passengers, but you can't wait for them for any length of time. So single yellows, single reds are waiting restrictions. Double yellows, double reds, if they ask you what it's for, what's the purpose, is to help ease traffic congestion or help traffic flow, because you can't stop on there at any time of day. So cars aren't parked, so the traffic flows. So that's what the double reds and double yellows are. If they ask you the difference between double yellows and double reds, there's no tolerance with the reds. So with a disabled badge, you can stop on the double yellows. With a disabled badge, you can't stop on the double reds. So there's no tolerance. If you get caught in the double reds, you're going to get clamped or towed straight away. With a double yellows, there's a little bit of a leeway. So that's the difference between the two. But the main question is, an answer, what's it for, what's the purpose? It helps traffic flow or eases traffic congestion is what you're looking for the real test. Debbie, thanks. No problem, that's what I'll be put on the earth for, to help people out, and I'll do that to my best of my ability. But thank you for saying that, and I appreciate it. You too. Alright, so there's no questions on that as perception, which is strange considering a couple of you said struggling. Since there's no questions, I'm going to sign out and get ready for the study camp at 1 o'clock. Those of you who've got a test coming up, I wish you the best of luck. Please come back next week, let us know how you got on. And those of you who are studying for a test, as you're studying, any questions, trust me, any questions, jot them down, bring it to the live sessions. I repeat, that's why I go live, so I can answer your personal question, so you don't have to go around searching around YouTube for a generic answer. Don't be afraid to jot them down, bring it to the next live session, and let's discuss and learn from each other. And I shall see you. There's nothing to apologise for. Thank you for the class as always. And just thank you for being here. So I'll see you guys next Sunday. Take care and enjoy your week. Stay safe, which is more important than anything else. See you next week.